Hello and welcome to the IMBA Cup. This is round one. As you can see, it's still pizza. We got Tag Rock and Duris, both tag team members. Of course, nice to see Tag Rock playing with Cybran, going first land, and actually going second air. Quite a bit of power just with ACU, 2 air factories. And Cybran on this map, especially against Aeon's, got to get air control. Really on this map, no matter who you're playing, you got to get air control. Whoever wins air, at least in the games I've seen so far, basically wins the game. Surviving on Red Bull at this point, so I start rambling. I apologize, but guess that's alright. If that happens too, we can see some expanding engineers and an advantage here for Aeon. We got these floating scouts. You can see Duris placing his scouts, these move orders. You can see anything that comes out of a rock slice. That's excellent use of Aeon in this one. I'm kind of surprised that people haven't used Aeon as much on pizza. Aeon and Seraphim, the two most logical factions. Of course, Cybran probably very difficult to play. Perhaps the most difficult on this map. Although they do have the gesture early on. If Rock wanted to use that, looks like he's going out with interceptors to begin with, and actually a hunter for Rock. So Rock looks like he's expecting scouts to get on land so he can take him out with some hunters. Looks like the interceptor is just going to fly around, play defensive. So Rock playing very defensive, while Duris is surrounding his base with scouts. So so far it's a pretty nice start. We are now seeing auroras. This is the power of Tech 1 Aeon. Doesn't care if it's land or water, it's just going to go. And perhaps the first air fight. Looks like Duris gets behind Rock's interceptor. And we also see a bomber. So bombers versus auroras. That's what you get when you play Aeon versus Cybran. Pretty standard. And this early air fight, not clear is going to be the winner, but it's going to be very close. But another, that's a scout actually. And that's some bombing from Rock. First engineer, second engineer. This is a badass bomber there from Rock. Skim in cleaned up. 2 factories from Duris nearly complete. This one now gets completed by another engineer. Just before it gets taken out, 3 kills for Rock's bomber. Some protection for it as well. Now it just gets out of there. It knows it's got no chance. Excellent air work from Rock here in the first 5 minutes. Elsewhere we see Rock is still for the most part surrounded. And you can see the auroras, at least on this side. The auroras is going to take the engineer. Perfect placement of a scout on the aurora. Very similar situation here on top, although Rock does have some bombers in the air. Perhaps he can save his engineer. A very important engineer. You could almost say Duris is going after all 5 slices. Now some gestures coming out. That's a long way to the unit from Cybran. And here it looks like that bomber was finally taken out, but this engineer is still alive. So both Aurora and bomber are dead, with Duris taking over air control here above this slice. So this engineer in quite a bit of trouble working on the factory. Successful drop now from Rock here in the back, avoiding the Aurora. This is the one with 1 kill. The transport will be taken out by some interceptors. Bombers not coming in. Bombers, auroras. Another group of auroras coming in for Duris. And Aeon just dominating this area. Water maps. Very difficult for Cybran. Let's see what they can do. Of course, the direct counter here going Navy. Strong frigates can counter the aurora. And this is just tragic now for Rock. Almost completed the factory. Gets his engine taken out. Not much trouble here for Duris, except there is a bomber with 3 kills. Let's see if it does anything. And a drop coming in for Duris. He's going to try to take over that slice. On the bottom here, 3 factories for Rock, but having some trouble. So map control definitely shifting in Duris' favor. No trouble here for Duris. Not much here. So he's got his 2 expansions, and he's got his forces on the other 2. So he's living on all 5 slices. and actually encroaching on Rock's main island, but this is good defense from Rock directly in the middle of the map. Actually a good placement. He is making a whole bunch of flak here as well. This is main air fighting area. And it looks like Duris is not realizing this. This is not where you want to fly if you got Tech 1. Cybran onto air, and it looks like Rock, that was a nice move. Does have the numbers in terms of interceptors. However, bombers, 5 kills for that bomber. So T1 bombers have been extremely good for both players in this one. Both players extremely good. In last IMBA Cup, Duris didn't have too much luck. I believe he was finally defeated by Deathly in the losers bracket. But definitely playing extremely well. Unfortunately, Lance forever, he probably wins most of his games, but he doesn't play very often. A very good player. Now we see frigates coming out, and with frigates they can definitely take on groups of auroras. They can block all these choke points, prevent this flow of auroras into Rock's expansions. It's having quite a bit of trouble. Looks like a drop of artillery. Actually, notice the factory that's producing artillery directly on Rock's expansion. It's a bit of a foothold here for Duris, but Rock is having pretty good success with air, which means he can drop anywhere he wants. It's going to be a drop here for Rock in an air fight, and it appears that Duris might actually win this one. Let's look at the bases. Must have extremely good production. Tech 2 now for Duris, making swift wins. I've already got Tech 2 power. And this is what auroras will do to you. A massive force here. Tech 1 bomber from Rock trying to do something about it. But air has shifted in Duris' favor. Back at base, still just Tech 1 for Rock. A couple T2 mask extractors. And the auroras is just marching through, but they run into a point defense. It's a very good point defense here from Rock. 11 kills, just a massacre. And you can see the auroras are coming back onto water. They're going to run into a frigate. And plenty of Manta here to play defense for Rock. Elsewhere we got Rock playing good defense here. It looks like he's cleaned up on that base from Duris. You just got to pick up the rest of the mask extractors. T2 gunships coming out for Duris. This earlier T2 arrow for Duris could be trouble. You can see Rock has expended quite a bit of resources in his navy. A whole bunch of frigates, although we do see now a response from Duris. 3 naval factories producing submarines. That's a direct counter to a frigate. Can't shoot back, but frigates are definitely doing a good job against the auroras. And a drop from Rock. So if you have air control, you can actually get your units across, unlike Aeon. And a drop, actually simultaneous drops here for Rock on multiple parts of the map. Frigates are moving in. They're going to run into these submarines. Perhaps they can kill something before they're killed. But now even more trouble for the frigates. T2 gunships and swift winds. Swift winds cost 4 times as much mass as a Tech 1 interceptor, but they're extremely fast and of course more health. But on bigger maps they're much better than Tech 1 interceptors just because of their speed. Some Tech 2 Navy coming out for Rock. Some cruisers, a stealth boat, and frigates, nothing that can shoot torpedoes. That's a bit of a mistake from Rock. Nice group of auroras, and now Tech 2 blazes and shields. The greatest unit for Aeon, no question about it, is the shield. Makes their navy extremely good, makes their land extremely good. And in air they're already very good. Gunships coming in for Duris. Run into a whole bunch of Tech 1 onto air. Rock is responding with the air of his own. And it's going to be Tech 2 versus Tech 1, but big numbers for Rock. And of course also flying over some flak here. Rock has a lot of Tech 1 flak. And simultaneously an attack now from Duris on land. And very even battle here. It looks like the gunships will be taken out, but at the price of quite a few interceptors from Rock. Both players throwing more interceptors in, and it's not. Yeah, this fight is definitely not over. This air fight, although we are seeing the Swift Winds getting a pretty big advantage. It looks like Tech 2 will win in this battle. Rock having to retreat, but Rock has more problems here on the other side, trying to defend with Navy. Whole bunch of Tech 2, Tech 1 moving in from Duris. This is some great stuff from Duris. This is probably the best pizza I've seen so far. Probably had enough pizza for a week, but if they serve them like this, I mean, look at this. Look at this topping here, just oozing down. You're gonna run into something else. This is like cheese oozing down onto some pepperoni. The pepperoni's gonna win this point defense. Does some nice cheese, and more coming through. And of course, in the water, we got Tech 1 versus Tech 2 submarines, with Tech 1 submarines dominating. So simultaneous air Navy and ground Navy versus ground, and pepperoni against cheese. You can't ask for more for pizza. We got some trouble appears here for Rock. He's got to rebuild all his mass extractors, but obviously he's quite busy. Switching to some Tech 2 submarines. This is a very powerful weapon for Cybran. Tech 2 sub, he just doesn't want to get in visual range. It's got stealth. Use the range of its torpedoes against Tech 1. Take those out one by one, no problem. But losing one submarine there, Rock. That's unfortunate. No, Rock trying to counter. Some gunships of his own. Cybran gunships extremely good. There's a single T2 flag here that's causing quite a bit of trouble for Rock. It looks like Rock will be able to hold on to the slice after that big raid from Duris. And we got that. Remember, that was happening during a massive fight here with air, where we saw some attacks from Duris with his gunships. Those gunships were taken out, but by this time we're looking at Duris is extremely good here at minute 23. Tech 3 air, Tech 3 power working on a Strat bomber. 23 minutes 13 seconds a Strat bomber from Duris. See what that does, and at the same time we see a pretty massive gunship situation here from Rock. He is going to kill a lot of units. You see a lot of splash. See how dominating they are against Tech 1. But a massive response now from Duris. Don't expect those gunships to be able to survive. You can see Rock splits up the gunships and the interceptors just disappear. And these gunships, yeah, they still take out a mass extractor and then leave. There's really nowhere they can go, perhaps over these cruisers to survive, but these cruisers are going to die. It's just a single Tech 2 submarine against all these submarines. And it's going to be naval domination for Duris. Duris got air domination, naval domination. It's going to come soon. He's got great options here. Tech 2 engineers making shields here from Tech 2 factory. Nice forces, amphibious forces ready to go in any moment. But here's a response now from Rock. Plenty of gunships, but Tech 2 flak here. You don't want to fly there if you're Rock. And he does fly there. He's going to be in quite a bit of trouble. A bit of a waste of those gunships. And just after hitting flak, they get hit by ASF. So not a good use of units there from Rock. And here you can see the predicted, the expected submarine domination. Rock having to expend his air to actually try to fight the submarines with bombers, but that's not successful. ASF and Swift Winds from Duris. Total air domination, and actually Rock now working on pretty good submarine force. Tech 2 subs should be able to defend at least his own naval production. Strat bomber now coming in for Duris here, coming up on minute 30. That's a nice chunk of units there from killed by this bomber. 14 kills. See, this is Tech 3. Not really sure why he chose those targets. The bomber gets taken out after 2 bombs, but actually Duris choosing to retreat, not wanting to fight. But here comes the amphibious force. For whatever reason, Duris decided this was the time to go, and they're going in. And they're having some success. Plenty of shields. Should see more point defenses, more pepperoni being built here by Rock. Elsewhere, this is a great placement on a cruiser. It's going to pick up a lot of kills. It's the only cruiser that survived. Looks like Duris forgot to finish that off, but finishes off something else. Looks like some frigates here in a corner. Yet another amphibious force moving through. Engineers for Rock making more point defense, chasing this amphibious force on the other direction. So at the very least, Duris is forcing Rock to expend a bunch of resources on point defense. Now once again, cruisers moving into the middle. Some torpedo launchers for Rock. There's just too many Tech 1 subs to be making all those cruisers, but I guess Rock feels that he has to. Actually, some Tech 2 submarines for Rock, taking out all 3 T1 factories, but with air domination, Duris just takes those out with torpedo bombers. So a nice T2 submarine attack there from Rock, but it fails to air, which means that his cruisers are once again unprotected. 4 cruisers here. That's quite tragic to lose all that to just Tech 1 submarines. Seeing Rock making ASF of his own. He's got his Tech 3 power. Working on a second Tech 3 power. Duris also has 2 Tech 3 powers. Working on Strat bombers once again. Looks like he's taking some of his mask structures to Tech 3. Quite a bit of teching there for Duris. Not a lot here. For the most part, Tech 1. But this is a nice base. Tech 2 factory. And this is interesting. A missile launcher, cruise missile launcher from Duris. He's launching missiles across the map, taking out mask extractors. That is really nice to see. But here, excellent defense from Rock. That's a lot of nice mass for Rock to reclaim. Those engines are going to go to work. Some nice pressure here from Duris, making sure Rock can't just attack. He's got to expend a bunch of mass in this point defense. And you can see all those dead mask extractors. 14 kills so far, and a couple of missiles still loaded. Other side, exact same situation, except here we got 2 missile launchers, and these are such great targets. Tech 2 mask extractors with a bunch of mass storage. If Rock starts losing those, that's going to be a big hit to his eco. Although on this map there's so many mask extractors. Even if you lose a whole bunch of the map, you can still take up quite well. In this game, from what we've seen, in the 20th minutes, you're already going to Tech 3 and a whole bunch of teching. See a lot of Strat bombers here. It'll be interesting to see what Duris can do with those. That's 6 killing ACU in 1 pass. Cruisers now for Rock. Some more submarines. A unit limit for Rock. That's crazy. 34 minutes. He has just destroyed a whole bunch of his engineers. Just out of curiosity. Now they're playing with 1,000. Yeah, so Rock ran into 1,000 unit limit. Yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons I don't like pizza. It's just too insane. You got so much going on, and here's all those dead T2 mask extractors. Successful missile launchers. 16 kills, 6 another. Devastating attack there by Duris on the expansions of Rock. Rock now attacking with his navy. This just might have some success, but these shields take a long time to die. And now Strat bombers coming in. This is very surprising that Strat bombers use against cruisers, although they take out 2 in 1 pass. 3 of them survive in a bit of an ASF fight now. Rock might actually have numbers this time. Whole bunch of torpedo bombers in there as well. Clean up on the cruisers, and the cruisers have just been assassinated. So this attack from Rock defended quite well, although we see there's only 1 Strat bomber that survived out of 5. So 5 for 5 Strat bombers, 5 cruisers, but a pretty good defensive move by Duris, using one of his advantages to stop that advance. More missiles coming out. So many missiles in that missile launcher. Lots of pressure, but tactical missile defense here for Rock, preventing any more damage. Missile defense here for Rock as well. A Tech 3 mask extractor. Excellent targets. This would be a great place to drop by Duris. Strat bombers are just anything. Looks like Rock is really worried about air. A whole bunch of anti-air turrets. Some cruisers with stealth. And looking at the base here, GC has just been completed by Duris here, minute 38. Plenty of T3 power. A nice gunship squadron. Still just Tech 1. Submarines being produced non-stop. A lot of Tech 3 power for Rock as well. Pretty nice spam on anti-nuke. So both players thinking about nukes here coming up in minute 40. Submarines coming out. Still Tech. This is going Tech 3 here for Duris. Minute 40. And this GC is going to be very dangerous. Looks like Duris is sending it to the slice first. It'll be all about when Rock sees it. It's a lot of taking here for Rock. So it appears that looking at the base, we got the main base for both players, very well developed, plus one of the expansions which are across here. The other two slices, quite a bit of trouble here for both players. This has been all tactical missiled by Duris. And not too much taking here for Duris for whatever reason. Strat bombers and a donut now started for Duris. Appears Duris is has such a good economy, he feels he can just start making crazy experimentals. You can see this GC is well on his way to get onto this slice. Caused a lot of devastation. We do see a spider now for Rock. Should be a nice counter, although it takes more than a spider to kill a GC. But at least a spider gives you a chance. More cruisers for Rock. And once again we got the standoff Tech 1 subs plus torpedo bombers against cruisers and Tech 2 submarines. And the GC has now made it down to land, got 2 kills. Nothing that these units can do. This is all going to fall. Whole bunch of flag following that GC. See the SF from Rock here cleaning up. And the spider is moving in for defense here from Rock. GC is going to come in, clean up these 4 T2 mask extractors. Of course, elsewhere we see some cruisers now for Rock. Some stealthy cruisers, nice positions. Here and here are these choke points. GC with 27 kills. Take out a couple more mask extractors. Rock pulling back his submarines. In case the GC goes into the water, it can just get killed. Here at minute 45. The donut is nearly finished. The Duris is actually going to try to kill a Rock with a donut. And might actually have some success. He has plenty of air if he wants to try to win the air fight. Although this is a lot of it is Tech 1 here. But he's got a bunch of Tech 3 here. Remember he had quite a bit of air before. Now some Harbies dropped off. This is an excellent move. Whenever you attack someone with the experimental, very focused, that's the perfect time to do drops. That's exactly what Duris is doing. Plus his amphibious force Harbies, amphibious force GC. This slice is completely devastated. We're seeing 2 spiders now, 4 rocks. So with 2 spiders, he's ready to fight the GC. But the bigger situation here, of course, is the donut. That's just crazy. It's flying across the map. Here at minute 46, in the game between Rock and Duris. Duris actually believes he's going to use that to kill Rock. It's like he's not sending his SF force. Here's the fight between the GC just runs straight past the spiders into the water. He's going to meet some submarines. And it looks like it's not able to shoot, try to kill those engineers, get some veterancy, and there goes the donut. A bit of a mistake from Duris. But of course, that is an excellent gift to Rock. It's about 40,000 mass. And this is going to be another gift. All the GC just ran into a whole bunch of submarines. So Duris, with a huge advantage, has just gifted Rock a whole bunch of mass, about 60,000. 60,000 mass gift from one tag member to another. Spiders come in. These can actually be turned into very good offensive weapons if they start attacking here. It's just a Tech 3 factory. Excellent targets for the spiders. So Rock can start his comeback very quickly. On the other side for Rock, it's a very well developed position. Got some power problems, but plenty of Tech 3 mass extractors. So naval fight could be very interesting, because it's not clear that Duris will be able to use Air Force this time to defend. A lot of Air Force for Rock. And plus here you can see all these engineers. They've just reclaimed a lot of mass. There's another big chunk as well. Just out of curiosity here, minute 50. Rock has reclaimed 116,000. Duris has reclaimed 25,000, so you can see the difference. What is that? 85,000 or 90,000? Somewhere in that region. It's a whole bunch. That's basically three to four experimentals difference. And that was some successful sniping there from Duris. These missiles, 30 kills on that missile launcher, 18 on the other. Devastating missiles in this game by Duris. It looks like these spiders not going in straight in. Looks like they did some damage. Now they're pulling back. This naval battle is now forced by Rock. Tech 2 versus Tech 1, really no chance for Duris. The cruisers are coming in as well, and this looks like it's the beginning of the end for Duris here in minute 50. It'll take a lot to stop this navy and all these cruisers and causing damage, and we are seeing more spiders. 2 in the water here, so a total of 4 spiders, and they're all basically going into the middle. Should see some GCs popping up. We already have one completed by Duris, and a nuke. Completely missed that there's a nuke here for Duris, an anti-nuke. More power for Duris. Rock, a whole bunch of power for Rock. Actually a nuke of his own. So both players got nukes, both players got anti-nukes, and a whole bunch of power for both players. These cruisers are going to do a lot of damage, and even more importantly, this is a great anti-air situation for Rock. If he starts any battles above those cruisers, he's going to have a huge advantage. So the submarines have done their job. They can start moving in on the production. And Rock here taking his time rebuilding. He's got some engineers doing so. It's a nice transport. Dropping off a Tech 3 engineer by Rock. He probably needs an anti-nuke in this area because, yeah, with this nuke nearly complete, this would be a great target for Duris. It's a nice gunship squadron. Of course, an anti-nuke in this position for Duris would be very nice as well. He's making Tech 3 power instead. And that's why nukes are so good on this map. That you really need an anti-nuke in every single slice that you want to keep. So far players are only defending their 2 main islands, and now Rock attempting to get an anti-nuke, a lot of build capacity. Should see an anti-nuke here as well. A GC on this island for Duris, and now the spiders are making their way on Duris' slice. Actually a total of 4 spiders. Some of them through the back. There's only a single GC. This is some bad situations now for Duris, although in Navy he's built a whole bunch of Tech 2 submarines and now he's countering. Let's see spiders. 2 spiders versus GC. It looks like this spider is not shooting for some reason. Looks like it's just outside of range. Not clear what's going on, why that spider isn't moving in. It looks like it was just outside of range. Yeah, you gotta get closer with the spiders. It's a bit of a mistake there from Rock. Not clear why he didn't just move him closer. And that's a big wasted opportunity for Rock. Although he has 2 more spiders moving in. Getting hit by some GCs, and this could be the end. 2 nukes. Now one of the nukes going off for Duris. Duris does have a shield. And where is that nuke gonna go? There's also a nuke by Rock. Oh, and that nuke is very well placed defensive nuke by Duris. And here's a nuke by Rock. So there is no missile defense here. This is gonna be a huge loss for Duris. He's lost a bunch of power, a whole bunch of mass extractors. Tech 3 land factory. But an even better nuke here from Duris takes out 2 spiders. That was perfectly placed between them. And GC survives. So Duris survives. That was great. Some Strat bombers against cruisers. That's always painful to see. But it does appear that Duris' naval production is doomed with this massive force. This is definitely not where you want to have your air battles. If you're Duris, total domination by Rock. Back at Rock's base. Anti-nukes. More power and megalith. And now 1 megalith already completed. More submarines for Rock. Still, this is not being developed. It's a big trouble for Duris. He's lost his main expansion. He's still got 1 with some T2 mass extractors. His main base just got hit by a whole bunch of experimentals, although that's probably a good thing. He does have about 80,000 mass. So Rock has just really given back the mass advantage that he's had. Although, of course, mass cost is not as good the later you get it. See the GC trying to take out Tech 1 land factories by Rock. So no respect by Rock. He just starts building on other people's slices. Duris trying to rebuild here on his expansion that just got nuked. More GCs by Duris. But it does appear that this navy from Duris is doomed. Total air domination. Then these cruisers can go to work. Defensive megalith from Tag Rock. This will be very important. Looks like, yeah, this anti-nuke is already loaded, plus shield. So no longer an option to be nuked. Really no options to be nuked anywhere in Tag Rock territory. Maybe this naval factory, but nothing worth nuking on the slice with no anti-nuke. The submarines from Rock moving in, trying to put pressure on the naval production by Tech 2 submarines from Duris as well. Torpedo bombers coming in for Rock. And Duris playing pretty good defense once again. More GCs for Duris. Of course, he's got all that mass from the spiders. Looks like Rock was thinking about sliding in through the back. There's some naval domination here, but can't really push into those torpedo launchers. That must be the reason Tag Rock isn't moving in. A bit of an ASF fight. And somehow it appears that Duris is still winning, although these cruisers should cause a lot of damage. Strat bombers coming in. This is a whole bunch of Strat bombers now for Rock. 2 anti-nukes for Rock in this position. Let's see, the Strat bombers are coming in. These cruisers are just causing so much damage. Rock once again tries to build on Duris' base. Unsuccessful, and this looks like it is finally the end. Duris is going to lose his navy. There's a GC here in the area. He can probably take out a couple of cruisers. There's 2 GCs. Yeah, and they are going to take out a whole bunch of cruisers, but the submarines should survive. Now Megalith moving in Duris direction. And another Megalith, this is the one that was here. So 2 Megaliths moving in. And yet another nuke launched by Rock. They're working on a bug. Looks like this nuke is going into the Navy, so Rock, unable to break the Navy with his submarines, just decides to nuke it. It's probably a nice choice. Now you can just switch completely to cruisers. This Megalith is going to go through the back door. Could be very dangerous against Duris. So much build capacity here for Rock, not really being used. You can see Rock forced to recycle his engineers, keeps on hitting unit limit. And nuke now for Duris, and it is going into this. This is Duris' old expansion. Somehow Duris decides that was a good target. The Megalith still survives. Didn't really take out much. Some T2 mask strike, just some engineers. Scouting from Duris. Finally, Rock decides to kill his Tech 1 power generators. Those do take quite a bit of the unit limit. Some bricks for Rock. Perhaps we'll see some drops. And the bug for Rock is complete now, moving out into the field. At the back door, the Megalith takes care of the GC. Nice ASF spam. 2 nukes. More T3 shields from Duris. A battleship. We've seen Tag Rock making battleships. Of course, those have a very nice range and a lot of damage. It'd be nice to use those to start breaking these shields. Duris' main base, that's really all he has left. No worthy targets here. Now the cruisers are going to do a lot of damage. Flying underneath this patrol. Appears that that Mega is stuck or something, but it was destroyed by air. And hives. Huge advantage for Cybran in games where people hit the unit limit. Get a lot of build capacity for a single unit. Start replacing your regular engineers by hives. Not quite as efficient, but will get you bigger build capacity than NAN can do with the same number of units. And now it looks like torpedo bombers versus submarines once again. Once again, an ASF battle, and Duris should take this one as well. The battleship for Rock finally gets some firing range, starts taking out T3 power generators. This could be dangerous, can start a chain reaction. This would be a great target. 5 anti-nukes in this one. Yet another nuke. It's 1 nuke, 2, 3 nukes there for Rock. And you can see that nuke by Rock was taken out. And a counter nuke from Duris. And somehow this is destroyed. I missed how this was destroyed, and I didn't see any attacks from Duris. But somehow it was, and now that gave Duris the opportunity to nuke it. So both players losing their main expansions. That was a big loss for Rock. The battleships from Rock putting a lot of pressure. And the bug from Rock as well. Takes out the anti-nuke. Going after the nuke. Kills one of the nuclear launchers. And then he gets killed. One thing we gotta note, there's a nuke defense but no anti-nuke inside. And that could be crazy. Here comes a nuke. This should be done in time. And there it is. It was done just in time. Very close. And then yet another nuke launched now, this time by Duris, and that one hit the battleships. So Duris realizes that he can't hold on with his shields much longer. He uses the nuke once again defensively. You see a whole bunch of cruisers dead, a couple of battleships, nice chunks of mass. Now it appears Rock has just made a massive T2 transport fleet. He can transport probably most of his units over here. He was making a lot of bricks, so a nice brick drop would be a very nice touch to this game. More nukes being constructed by Duris. So Duris is definitely not ready to leave. He's got a whole bunch of power. He's got all this mass to reclaim, and he's got some build capacity, which means he can start producing good units, which has been. Really, we gotta say, if he didn't give away his donut that easily in the beginning, he would have most likely won. Was in a big advantage. Rock forced to rebuild, going straight to take 3. And now Megalith unable to shoot it through the wall. Some GCs, multiple GCs for Duris should be able to defend. The Megalith is going to retreat. On the other side, bricks coming out of the water. GC's got to cover both ends. And that's 3 nukes at the same time there for Rock here. This is 1 hour 16 minutes. And with 3 nukes, there's no way that Duris has enough anti-nukes. His anti-nuke saved him last time. That was a buzzer beater, but unable to save him this one. And a great comeback victory for Rock. So yet another nuke exploding there. That was from Duris. Really, we gotta say, Duris threw this one away. He had such a good advantage. Was beating Rock, but Rock used his navy very well. Crawled his way back. He never really won air, but won the nuclear fight and played very well against GCs. Hopefully people enjoy this one. I definitely did.